Welcome back to another episode of Hard to Make, produced by Mars Studios. Today, our guest is Saad. He is a Baruch College student and a Hafiz, and also a Islamic worker in his community. How are you doing today, brother?
Alhamdulillah, how you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Okay, tell me a bit about yourself and your life a bit.
Yeah, so as you said, my name is Saad. I just love working in the community. I picked up I really just got close to Islam. So just being closer to Islam, I just tried helping out in the community. I'm just an average Joe, Baruch student. I go to college. I'm live in New York, live in Queens, the best borough. And yeah, that's all I do really. Just basic life, alhamdulillah.
So, you said average Joe. How does, I mean, an average Joe is not like a person who actually helps out his community most of the time. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But what moments have made you to be that person, to work for your community, to be the person, a Baruch college student, and Hafiz and everything?
So alhamdulillah, I would say the first thing, just to make it clear, is I feel like the average person should be doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like everyone is at the end of the day we're all equal, right? But everyone has their thing, what they want to pursue or what they think they could be a leader in. For me, I really see that in just just trying to be a student leader amongst first off at Baruch. I really helped out with my Baruch Muslim community. Before I was helping out in the MSA. In the MSA, I really learned the community. I really learned how to take care of them, make sure everyone's needs are met, be open-minded. From that, now I work with the business club at Baruch, the Muslim business club, and through that, it adds another dimension, which is business. And I also have another love for business. That's why I went to Baruch. If anyone knows about Baruch, another thing is just living in New York. To be honest, living in Queens. When you live in Queens, I feel like you learn so much just about different communities. Like it can range from just a brown community to a white community, Spanish community, and you just see that everyone just needs. All communities have something similar yet different.
I think that's true because if you want to go to a white community, if not even white community, let's go to places in Queens itself. If you go to Flushing, you're gonna find a lot of Chinese people with their culture and their belief systems and their ethics and morals. And then you go a bit more to Astoria, Steinway Street. You see a lot of Arabs there. And then you go more towards Jamaica, Hillside Avenue. You see more Desi people with their own cultures and everything.
Yeah.
I think being the most diverse place in the planet and the country, we do have the way that we deal with people and the way that we interact is not something that other communities do. It is different.
I agree.
So to add on to that, right? What would you think? Do you think that having these different communities play a role in your life has contributed to be who you are today?
100%. And the reason why is because we have such an advantage being in a diverse community in New York, especially. In the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, I'm brown, so I thought all Muslims were brown. I didn't know, for example, a Latino Muslim existed. I didn't know, for example, an African American Muslim existed, stuff like that. So living in New York and going to just different masjids all around New York with my pops or just with my family, and you just see different communities. You see how at the end of the day it's Islam that unites them together.
I think that's definitely true because even when you look at the Prophet ﷺ's time, when you got Bilal radiallahu anhu, who was the first, he was pretty black. The way they describe his black is pretty dark of a shade, and he was the first muazzin being the person who gives out the azan, the call to prayer, which is one of the most dignified positions in Islam. And when you look at other sahabas, they were different cultures and different things. And the Prophet ﷺ, the beauty of him is that he never ever considered them as different people, or never said that anything racist. Basically right now, if you go walk down the block, obviously you're with your culture, but you are definitely going to get some racist comments. But the way that Prophet ﷺ and the way that they did it was a lot of difference.
Yeah, one thing you gotta know is that Bilal, he was from Abyssinia, so Like, you know, that those they were bought as slaves over there at that time. And another thing is, in Mecca at that time, there was a lot of tribalism, which is kind of like race, in a sense where if you weren't from your tribe, they would treat you differently. So when Islam came and the Prophet came, you know, that's one thing he made clear, is that, you know, no tribe is better than the other.
I think that's definitely like something that the schools, the Department of Education, and the way that we do stuff, I think they have done a very good job in what they're doing with the assimilation of, like, not assimilating but embracing other cultures and understanding that there's different cultures, and helping promote a good, better, diverse, unified community overall, rather than like, oh, this guy is this person or this guy is this person, so don't talk to him, or this, like, there are certain things in Desi culture where I have seen personally, like, they're like, oh, don't talk to that person, you know, because like they're that. But obviously, as like we know that it's not something that's supposed to be happening, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We bleed the same blood, and it's just like the idea of racism is like pretty, like, racism and having like a diverse community is like something that people just, some people don't understand it. A lot of people do understand it in here, specifically New York City.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to DOE. I remember when I used to go to school, when we used to, I mean, you still go, but
Yeah.
like back then there was no like prayer room, halal food, stuff like that for Muslims. But now, to be honest, they're picking it up. Like, they're noticing more kids are trying to pray, more kids only eat halal food. So, you know, they're really looking out for kids. So shout out to DOE for that.
Yeah, I think like MS217 and a couple other schools, they recently passed out a whole budget and separate budget just for halal meals.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
That's actually pretty good, alhamdulillah, you know?
I didn't have that.
Yeah, we did not have that. I mean, still to this day, certain schools don't still have it, but there are schools that are starting to
Yeah, they're working
bringing
on it.
on it. But that's pretty good though. That's pretty dope, and I actually like.
It shows the influence of just Muslims right now, like just the power that we have as like a community, and like the better that we are, the better they're gonna see us.
So what roles do you play in the community when it comes to like it being Islamic worker? What roles do you play?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like again, I don't like the titles. I just like saying like I'm an average guy, just average normal musalli at the masjid. You know, I call the adhan when I can. Like if I come early, I'll try leading the prayer. You know, obviously if the imam allows it. But also, yeah, just I love being involved in the youth, and the reason why is like youth are so, like, in a way it might sound bad to say, but youth are so easy to be manipulated.
Yeah.
So like, why not just manipulate them into something good, right? So I just feel like that's just a responsibility as like an older brother to kind of like help the youth out. So once I just noticed that, I just been involved in just halakas, youth events, stuff like that.
I think going back to the idea that kids can be manipulated pretty easily, I was listening to this podcast with a couple of, do you know Andrew Huberman? No. So he's a neuroscientist. He's a pretty well-known scientist with like a lot of knowledge in science itself. So he explained how the kids' attention spans are kind of like decreasing, or like this hardcore wire. So you have the hardcore parts of your body, which is like, oh, the body has to pump this much blood into your organ systems and everything. But as you progress, there is this soft coded things that do not, like, actually not hard coded, but as you progress, those are the stuff that experiences that you get that shape you.
Okay.
So like, for example, like the kids, they have this addiction to their smartphones or something. That's just something that actually gets coded as a hard thing in their bodies, although that's not supposed to be something that's happening. So I think going back to the topic of getting their attention and seeking their thing, I think like that's, you need to target them young,
100%.
because at a young stage they are developing. Basically, they're going through the soft phase where they're learning stuff, experiencing everything. So if you let them experience the bad stuff, such as like alcohol, vape, or anything like that, then they're going to think, they don't know, so they're going to think that this is the good thing, and then they're going to develop it all the way through their lives.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is a habit, whatever they develop as kids. Like, you see it because, for example, if you play sports, you're going to end up playing that, like, basically your whole life. Like, not your whole life, but that's a sport you're gonna be addicted to basically.
Addicted and love, like
Mhm.
for you, I believe is basketball.
For basketball, yeah.
Yeah.
I played for high school, middle school. Yeah, it's just something I picked up living in Queens.
So how was the experience playing in multiple levels in like high school, middle school? How was it? How did
It
you feel?
it was really fun. Alhamdulillah, I would say it kind of kept me away from bad too. Like I feel like that's the reason why so many schools have teams is because they keep you occupied playing the sport rather than just being in the streets or just being doing other stuff that's not helpful to you in any way. Yeah, it was alhamdulillah, it was good. Obviously I was the only brown person on my team. So I mean, I picked up like, it's just ball at the end of the day. It's like a getaway from just life basically, in my opinion.
So what are your thoughts on? Do you still play?
I still play here and there, yeah. I'm trying to get back into it more because like it is like it's a big stress reliever. It's staying active. So alhamdulillah, it's still fun. Like you can play with 2 people, you can play with 10 people. It doesn't matter. It's not like other sports where you need a bunch of people and you need a net. All you need is a ball and a hoop. That's it.
That's true. That's definitely true. So being a kid who grew up in Queens, and then also like since obviously Islam is not the first religion or like the prioritized religion here, and you going to normal high school, Department of Education high school, how hard or like complicated was the Hafiz process, like to become a Hafiz? Because I know there are brothers and sisters out there who are going through the same situation trying to become a Hafiz, but some of them are going to how did you get how did you get become a Hafiz then?
So alhamdulillah, I went to a school that was under my dad, and my sheikh was Yemeni, so he's fluent Arabic.
Arabic, yeah.
So basically, like alhamdulillah, after school, I was doing it part time, not even full time. I was going to normal school. I was doing my homework, stuff like that, just living a normal life, but just reading, trying to read the Quran almost every day. And alhamdulillah, it was amazing because like my teacher spoke Arabic, so he was able to just like
Interpret it basically.
interpret, make sure I'm saying everything correctly, make sure I'm following the rules. And alhamdulillah, like I completed it before going to high school. But obviously, when you complete, it's not really completing it. You still got to review. It's like an attachment you have to yourself, where you got to read it every day.
So this is the thing that I learned, right? A Hafiz is a person who is. So the brother, right? This is in context of how he memorized the Quran in 30 months, 30 days. Sorry,
Mashallah.
30 days.
I think I heard this story.
I'm pretty sure it's kind of famous. It's out there on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But so the idea is that how Palestine there's like having like a shortage of people and everything. So they have this one program, delivered by the government where you become a Hafiz in 30 days, and this brother he actually went to become a Hafiz in 30 days, and he explained how on the first day it was hard for him, right? So what the schedule is, you wake up for Fajr. So that's like, for the people who don't know, that's like waking up before dawn. Yeah, dawn. Till like Zohar. What time would that be?
Like noon.
Noon, 12 o'clock, around that time. So from that time to that time, he just continues trying memorizing it. All he does is memorize, read it, memorize. So the first day, obviously, he was like, he's like, oh no, I can't do this. It's hard. He couldn't even memorize a verse, right? And then the person who was in charge, the sheikh, he was like, it's all right, try it again, keep trying. So the first day was hard. He couldn't memorize. He memorized like 1 line or 2 line. The second day, he was able to memorize more. And then third day, he got to the point where he memorized, I believe, a surah, or just don't quote me on this. I don't remember. He got to a point where it was like a juz or something that he was able to memorize in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And alhamdulillah, by the 30 days, he memorized the whole Quran. And he left back to Canada, and he said that in the podcast, he said in the podcast or interview, I'm not sure, but he said that if for a person to become Hafiz is not memorizing the Quran, but it's how good you can retain the Quran in your memory. That's what makes you a Hafiz.
And by retaining it, you have to obviously review it, and you have to love it in your heart. That's the main thing. True. Another thing I would mention about just like how you were saying with just going to high school and stuff is that like you definitely feel that like you're the only Muslim there. You just feel, if you know, like, you know, the imposter syndrome.
Imposter
You,
syndrome,
I,
yeah. You
I
just
felt
don't
that
belong there.
in my life. I felt that so much. It's like I felt like school was like, it was like, until I was playing basketball, until after school, until practice, I felt like imposter. Even at practice, I was the only brown guy there shooting a basketball, and like, you know, I'm like, I just felt like, yo, once I go home, I'll finally feel like I belong. Like, you know.
I feel like that's something that I have felt a lot because regardless of where I go, I'm 90% of the time only Sri Lankan,
Mm-hmm.
the only guy who has Sri Lankan parents, and like who was born in Jordan. Like there's no other guy who you can meet, and like who lived in Middle East, and then who has this, and like my accent is like pretty unique. Like you cannot find my accent anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even an Indian accent. It's not a Desi accent.
It's like a fusion.
It's like a fusion of Middle East. You got, and then you got the Desi accent, and then you got the English accent. Like everything is combined. Even like one of the Desi brothers, he was like, "Oh, where are you from? Because like you don't sound Desi, or you don't sound American either. Like, where are you? You know, so like it's like I just don't belong anywhere where I go. Like regardless of where I am. So like sometimes I do get that imposter syndrome. Oh, I just don't belong anywhere. But like I think I got to a point where it's like it's whatever. It's all right. You just be you because you're unique, and nobody
Mm-hmm.
can be you.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like if you feel imposter syndrome, you shouldn't see it as a bad thing. You should kind of see it as a good thing because you're unique. Is what you were saying. Like, you're the only one in the room that can really relate to you. So, you know, it's like, it makes you special.
It definitely does, cause like there is no other person. I'm 100% sure there's no other person that has went through a civil war, COVID, and has been through four different countries. Like there's no one in the room that could say that. Like I'm 100% guaranteed. Like I could even bet $1,000,000 on that. That's like easy.
Someone on the cast is about to listen.
That's like easy though, cause like you know what I mean. Like it's like wherever I go, that's definitely like people are amazed by the story, and then like they're amazed by the story and everything like that. But like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, you know, it's like
It's your special story. It's like something that only you can relate to, and your family, of course, and something I can't even relate to. So, you know.
But going back to like being a Hafiz, I think like since I'm not Hafiz, but I did
Inshallah.
memorize. I'm not a Hafiz.
Inshallah soon.
Inshallah. But I have memorized 2 juz in under Sheikh in Egypt,
MashaAllah.
which was like, you know, like she being a
Mhm.
Sheikh in Egypt is like
The Egyptians, they know how to read.
Yeah, Egyptians are like. I regret to this day not memorizing the whole Quran there.
Allah has a plan for it. Don't worry.
Inshallah.
It's gonna come.
But that is like something that like the Arabic that I speak is actually authentic and like there, but then I forget the language, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like what I realized is that I was so blessed to have been able to memorize at least that 2 juz there,
Mm-hmm.
because anywhere I go, there's no other teacher or anyone who could teach me the same way. Because you know how we have like the rulings and everything?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the
Tajweed.
izhar, the
Yeah.
tajweed and everything. They don't really straight teach you those stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They just make you memorize it and learn it. Because since Arabic is a natural language for there, you don't really need those tajweed rules. You just get it automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of struggled when I came here. It was like, oh, you need to know the tajweed rules and everything. But when they actually tested my recitation, it was close to it was close to like no mistakes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the perfect recitation, but it wasn't the worst either. It wasn't like I didn't know all the rules. I did all the rules, but in a way that I didn't know that I was doing the rules, but I did them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
It
different.
just came natural. Yeah.
Yeah. So was that the similar situation for you with the Yemeni teacher?
Yeah, the Yemeni teacher, to be honest, it's like, for him, it was just second nature. And he knew what I was, like, whatever I was reading, he could translate it. And, like, something about my sheikh was he was always, like, improv whatever I was reading. So if I was reading about, like, a prophet, for example, he would talk about the story after I read it. So, for example, for the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, he would talk about the story. And, you know, stuff like that. Basically, stories that's going on, whatever is being mentioned in the Quran. So it was beautiful. Like, it adds another dimension to just memorization.
I think what I realized is that in order to actually memorize it properly, not just properly, you just retain it so much better when you understand what you're reading and you understand. So like, in order, like, say for example, Surah Fatiha, you know, you actually understand the when you understand the meaning of it, that ayah sticks to your head like crazy.
Six, like, yeah, I agree. I feel like everyone should know the Surah Fatiha, at least read it. Because you read it every day.
You need to know the definition and meaning, because
It's beautiful.
as said in the Quran and the Hadith, that Allah will actually respond to each verse with His own message to it, and that's unique.
That's unique.
That's different. That's different than most surahs, and that's like something guaranteed. So you knowing what you're saying in salah is actually pretty important in my opinion.
Very important. It increases your khushu in salah, like your concentration, your focus.
All right, so shifting a bit to your business career. You said that
I love business.
yeah, you said that Queens is responsible for your idea of business.
Queens get to the money.
Yeah. So tell me a bit more about that.
So I think like business, I just picked it up ever since I was a kid. I just felt like, to be honest, if you look back in time, look back at all the Sahabas, right? Most of them were businessmen. Most of them were trading in the mornings time. They would travel to trade. So it's like, for me, it just came natural to just want to be a business person. I'm not saying I'm at a point that I'm happy at yet. And I feel like as a business person, obviously you should say alhamdulillah for what you have, but you should also strive for better, you know? But yeah, during COVID, I started like just reselling, like sneakers. I started reselling on eBay, Go, like StockX, stuff like that. And I would say that's where I really learned like the keys of business. Like, for example, networking. For example, keeping good relationships. Just like learning strategy, marketing strategies, stuff like that.
So can you elaborate a bit more on like marketing strategies, networking?
Yeah, I'll give you.
Because we have spoke about this a lot in our podcast, especially with networking. That's been a big topic, but elaborate a bit more on the marketing aspect of it.
Yeah, marketing, in my opinion, it's one of the most important things about selling. Marketing is basically going to help you get the sale, right? So when you market something, it can be something that the person didn't even want. But the way you market it, it'll make the person want it. It'll make the person want to buy it. Marketing, for example, like let's say I have a pair of shoes. The angle I take a picture of the shoe to post it matters. The description I give, or the color of the font even matters that I posted in, or just like even the brightness and stuff like that of the picture. All those things go into aspect. Because like if you take a picture of something dark and you post it on, like for example, Facebook Marketplace, I would sell on that too. If I take a picture of a shoe like in the dark, no one's gonna buy it. They're gonna think like, oh, like you never know. But like if you post it with good lighting and you put like a tag and you put like stuff like that, it's gonna help sell it better. And that's what I seen myself when I used to sell like shoes. I mean, I still do sell shoes. Don't get me wrong. I have an Instagram for it and all that, but but yeah, it's like right now I only sell online, just like brand new shoes, no more used shoes.
I think like there was this one epidemic kind of thing, like, so you know when the industrial revolution started, they had the cars and everything, right? So the marketing was so easy because it was just something new, brand new. Why not
Everyone
buy
wants
it?
a car.
Everyone
Yeah.
wants a car. Everyone
wants
wants a fridge. Everyone wants
They weren't
that.
even marketing it. Like the thing with cars is that I'm also a car enthusiast.
Yeah.
The thing with cars is they were just on the streets, so it's free marketing if you think about it. So that's another thing too with business.
I think like, so the point I was getting, right, it's like basically they had all these stuff where they were self-marketing themselves. It got to the point where the people did not need the stuff anymore. It was like, oh, we already have this, why would I need it again, right? So what they started doing was neuroscience research, neuroscience marketing research or something like that, that basically targets your psychology and the needs of it, basically like dopamine and everything.
Dopamine, yeah, 100%.
So they started doing that, and then that's how you get like the, you know, like those Kraft, the Kraft cheese.
Yeah.
So you know how like it's supposed to be Kraft as in CRAFT, right?
Yeah.
But you know the C is changed to K. That's one of the tactics that they started. That's basically where like they have the K, which is like something unique. So like your psychology, so you're psychologically
it's gonna stand out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you go to the store, you see we know that name, Kraft,
Krispy Kreme,
Oreos, so many stuff. Like you could just think about what, like just switching up the letters. Yeah.
Switching up the letters and having like a unique kind of branding item. That's like one of the things that they came up with, and like that's that shows how like marketing, as you said, you don't need the stuff, but they would try to sell. They would sell it to you regardless.
Think about advertisements, like just advertisements you see is based on just desire, right? It's like you don't know you need it, but once you see like your favorite celebrity wearing it or stuff like that, you want to buy it. You just want to. The thing is, you just want to fit in a sense, but in a way, you also want to connect with the celebrity by having the same product. So that's another way of advertising and marketing.
I think that people are definitely like learning that a lot, because as I've seen is like people are building personal brands. One, and second is like if you look at The Rock, what's his name, Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, he has his ads and Instagram posts and everything for the credit card Acorn.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So basically, those are stuff that they have. They have basically like personal brand marketing, which basically portrays this one person, and then they use that to market everything.
Yeah.
So it's like always associated with that person. Like when you see that person on the street, oh, you remember that product.
Yeah, this is just famous celebrities. So.
It's like something unique. This is like, I think this is one of the uprising of new marketing tactics. And then you got guerrilla marketing, which is like another marketing tactic. And some guerrilla marketings are like crazy. They actually go above and beyond for that.
Like, to be honest, like I think all companies just try out not every marketing, but like, see which ones they're good at, and then from there you see what you work with, and if you're satisfied with it, you stay with it.
I think like one thing that McDonald's themselves started recently is the nostalgic marketing campaign, which has been there something. Apparently they're losing a lot of revenue, obviously, but
yeah.
And because of that, they started this nostalgic marketing tactic, and also, I don't think there's any other stuff that they're doing right now. But that's like one big thing that's recent times that they're doing.
Yeah, stop looking at McDonald's.
I mean, yeah, that's truthfully true. But going back to networking, how much has networking helped you with marketing and everything?
So yeah, I would say networking is something that you should take advantage of, right? I feel like if you think about it, the opportunity is there. You just have to walk up to it and do it the correct way. I feel like I really learned that in high school and college, especially just being business minded, meeting other business minded people. Like when you talk to people, you realize, oh, we share this in common. And that's one thing. When you share that in common, you just talk about other stuff too. At Baruch especially, just in college setting in general, is very network based because there's so many people and they're only going to remember you for one thing, that whatever you talked about. For example, like at college, I bond with a lot of Muslims, obviously. We talk about like Islam, stuff like that. Yeah. I bond with a lot of like just business minded people who have their own business, because that's something I did myself, and that's something I want to do in the future as well. So it's something that we always talk about, entrepreneurship, stuff like that, and just being like even human affairs. Like I get along with people that are human affair majors. Why? Because we just share this same common like goal of just having like a good resource for humans.
So when you're creating a business and everything, right? What do you really want to look forward to?
Money.
Money.
To be honest, it's just money and influence.
What do you mean by influence?
Influence meaning whatever business I do make in the future, inshallah, whatever it is, I just want it to be a business that, people can benefit from and people can gain something from, right? So, it's a win-win in a sense. In a sense, it's obviously like a halal business is a win-win for both parties. So it's just something that I want to do just so that I have the ability. I feel like having like financial freedom is such an advantage just to any Muslim. You don't have to work under someone that's not Muslim. You can express your values as a leader of your own business and just keep it halal. That's it.
So basically keep it halal. I think like providing value is definitely something that... So this one thing that I learned, right? If you're doing something, anything, whether it be starting a new project in a company or like doing an entrepreneur, but opening a business, doing another podcast or doing anything, if you are willing to do it because of you're trying to benefit people, money will come to you regardless. So the biggest advice that I learned is that you need to focus on the people around you and creating impact on them, a good impact, not a bad impact, obviously. And through that, money will come. Do not worry about money. Do not worry about status. Do not worry about anything. if you do the right thing for the right reasons with the right mindset, you will definitely get money.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, how I see it is just knowledge, really, like just knowing when to make the right moves, and then making sure you don't mess up like in a bad way where you can harm your business, your customers, your employees. So that all matters too.
I think like when it comes to like bankruptcy rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to this other person. He said, "Oh, we need this company needs a lot of money." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, you need a lot of money, but if you don't know what you're going to do with the money, with the leadership, if the leadership sucks, then you can't do anything with the money.
100%.
The money is going to be there, sure,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have a good outlook, then the money is garbage."
Yeah, that's why I feel like the best businesses are the ones that come from the ground up, because you can have capital, but if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the knowledge, the resources other than money, the company most likely will not work out, because all those things are important too.
I think like a well-oiled company is something that has multiple resources. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
like it relies on people. It relies on people's trust, behavior, connections, and mutual understanding, versus a company that solely learns on money and the idea of, oh, I want to achieve this person. So basically, it's purpose over passion. Because what happens is passion is egotistical,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's so selfish. It's just you in the equation. There's no one else. But when you have a purpose in life, yes, you have the passion, but turn that passion into a purpose. Such as, for example, if you wanna start a business, but I wanna start a business. Yes, I wanna make money, but through making money and through this business, I wanna do this, and this for these people because they have because of this,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like reading about this book in Ego is the Enemy. It's like definitely like showed that it's something that's definitely necessary.
I would agree with what you said with the purpose. If you think about it, there's so many CEOs nowadays, right? Just so many people you could think of that make billions of dollars. They're still working. Like they don't want to they don't have a purpose. Their purpose is just to work. Like they don't. That's just it. It's just the passion of just making money, just being famous, having the number one name, trending on Twitter, stuff like that. That's their purpose. Like, to be honest, it goes nothing beyond that.
I think like, yeah, that's definitely true. So going to outlooks, what are some outlooks you have?
The first thing is like I just want to increase my knowledge. To be honest, living in New York, this is really hard just to increase knowledge in general, business, Islamic knowledge, like just spiritual knowledge. I want to definitely go study in like a Muslim country, live there for a couple of years, inshallah. Like that's my goal right now after Baruch, after living in New York, just experience another lifestyle,
Another lifestyle.
like living in a Muslim community, going to school, like living under a government that respects your values as a Muslim, and just seeing where it takes me, to be honest.
I think to be honest with you, I personally have experienced all of it. Like I really don't want to move it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I have moved like move this there. So like I do not definitely want to move, but I think that outlook is pretty good, because when it comes to knowledge, there's so much endless things that you could be learning. People think that learning is so stupid and crazy because of school, like the way that school structured it. I feel like it's my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That school could structure the education process a bit differently.
But they don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want to, but the thing that I'm thinking is like the way that, oh, you're learning physics, sure, but then if you're not implementing that, right? A lot of kids, they're like, oh, I'm learning this, but when am I going to use this in life?
Exactly.
But if you actually have the process where like you teach them this math, and then you make them use it in a real life situation,
Mm-hmm.
or you actually give them a situation right now to solve it using that math,
Mm-hmm.
then the kids are going to be like, oh, I learned this math because of this. And they actually retain it a lot better because experience brings education.
100%. If like the one thing you gotta realize is like I don't want to throw no shots at the DOE, right? But like the thing with the DOE is they have a plan for this, right? In a sense where it's like everything they teach, they've been teaching the same thing for years,
Yeah.
and I don't think they're gonna change it anytime soon. Think about it, they're not doing social media courses because social media is popular right now. They're not doing those. Name me one school that teaches you how to do your taxes.
No.
Like there, you can't find one.
Okay,
school
so
that does
we
that.
had this conversation with someone, right? With a financial person who's a financial, who's actually a financial advisor.
Okay.
He said that financial literacy is important, like you need to, but then sometimes they want you to like it's hard to explain it
I know. I understand what you're saying.
because sometimes the people, it's supposed like the financial literacy bar aspect of life is supposed to be parents' responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the school is there just to teach you about life and math and this and that.
But the thing is, like most kids see school more than they see their parents. If
That
you
is
think
true.
about it, you're at school the whole day. You come home, see your parents for a couple hours if you live with them. Go to sleep, do the same thing the next day.
I really do agree with you that taxes should be taught. I think some schools are incorporating it, but like at a minimum level, like maybe like one period in it.
Mm-hmm.
Although that's something that you need to be doing the most of in your life, like taxes and healthcare, debit cards, credit cards.
Think about what you just said. If they taught us taxes, there's no CPAs. If they taught us credit cards, stuff like that, less bankers, less financial advisors. Why would they want that? Why would they want that? You know. To be honest, from my experience, just my experience, I'm not talking about DOE in general. My experience going through the DOE would be I didn't learn any leadership skills from that. I just learned
You had to follow someone.
how to make steps. That's it. How to follow like a guideline. That's it. Like follow a step of rules. That's it.
I think that is definitely true. Okay, so I'm definitely going. This is definitely controversial as hell. Like
Yeah, 100%.
you know, but like but there is a quote from Rockefeller. He said that the school systems are created to create workers and not people to think.
Rockefeller said that, not us.
There is a quote out there on the internet. That
Mhm.
it's not me. It's actually not me.
Yeah.
I am quoting someone though.
Mine was my experience. That's all I was saying.
So, and I would definitely say that too because I never really learned. Like I go to school, you get a, and the way that school is designed, in my opinion, is that it's systemized in a way that it punishes failure. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that 65 that you see on your report card.
That's very true.
You know, like people say, oh, it's just a grade, it's not gonna harm you, like, you know, but mentally it torments you. It definitely torments you, like, trust me. When you're getting that 65, teachers are like, oh, that's just a 65, you need to learn from that mistake, but you're not allowing that kid to actually learn from his mistakes. Because you're just showing him a big 65 right here. You got a 65 right here.
Mhm.
You know, that's like 65 is like the
sucks.
tormenting.
It sucks that like a student is based off a number. Like the value they bring is based off a number on a test. Like I hated that.
I
It's
think
that
that's
feeling.
yeah.
I hated it.
It's like some schools are switching to like not number based, letter based
Mhm.
grades, which is like A,
That's still
B.
the same
It's still
problem.
the same thing though. Like I feel like the one thing that schools should do is not grades. Either you know the material or you don't know the material, right? That should be it. It's basically like if this person they don't. I think like the testing process is still dumb too, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have them have like a practical, like, you know, you actually using it in this situation, and you give them a scenario to use that same problem in the situation. So for example, let's say like English, you could tell them, oh, this is you need to write a letter to this person, you need to use all the grammar, all the stuff that you learned. Now you're actually learning something and you're actually implementing and writing a letter or email to someone.
Yeah, I would say that like for me, state tests, regions, those did not make sense to me. I feel like it got better now, and especially in college, it's the test not everything. Like you can pass the class without passing the test. It puts less stress on you because you shouldn't be graded on just the test. To be honest,
Yeah.
that grade is really just showing your test taking abilities, because how well you can perform under pressure and stuff like that. It's not about how well you understand the concept.
The concept of the material. That's definitely true.
Yeah, but my expertise is not schooling, so I don't really know
Yeah,
much.
I mean, mine either, but like, these are my opinions because I am a student. I've been through the process, you
Same.
know.
So you
All
know
both of us been through the process,
that was
so
our
it's like
experiences.
just our experience to put out there. No controversial.
Yeah, yeah. Don't put us on the blacklist, DOE.
uh, yeah. So moving on ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is some advice you would give to yourself 3 years ago?
3 years ago, to be honest, I would. I don't know how to explain this, but I wouldn't take any. Like, I wouldn't regret anything that I did. Like, I feel like, alhamdulillah, everything happened for a reason. You know. I don't like to think like, why can't I go back in the past and give myself advice? A better question, I guess, would say like, if I give advice to someone younger than me, 3 years younger than me, I'll
What would
answer it
that
like
be
that.
then?
It would be like, just start, like just do it now, don't wait. Like I feel like it's a bland answer, but it goes a long way. When I tell someone start now, like for example, I'm 19 right now. If I told someone at 16, start now, you know, start learning now, start reading now, start talking now, start the business now. You have more time, you have more of an advantage, and you're younger too. So when you fail, you're gonna be able to bounce back harder. You know, there's more pressure on someone my age or your age, where if you fail now, the consequence is gonna be even harder. You get what I'm saying?
I think like I was reading about this, right? When you get older, the consequences get greater, but when you're younger, you don't actually experience the consequences as much because you don't have anything to lose.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have anything to lose, why not start it?
I wouldn't say nothing to lose. I say you have less to lose.
No, yeah, that's to lose. Because let's say for example, you don't. Right now, there's a lot of materials out there where you could start a company, start anything. Just go on the internet, search up something on YouTube, learn it. There's free courses out there. If you want to learn this one skill, let's say for example like editing a video or coding this one website, you could go on the internet and search up coding courses for free.
And
Literally
you can
just go
find them. Yeah.
just go on YouTube, search it up. You don't even have to search up free. You just search it up and it will just be the first three
You can go
pods.
to coding, like for example, go to Python, just start playing around with it. You'll pick it up eventually. Start watching
Exactly.
YouTube videos. That's simple.
It's simple, and they also have like these free resources out there, the tools, right? The tools, for example, like I do coding personally. I actually do computer science. I learned it through YouTube. I learned everything through YouTube. They have these free tools, VS Code, VS Visual Studio Code. That's a free software which you could use to code.
Mm-hmm.
There is no money included in it. There's nothing, no fee, no hidden fee, none of that. And then if you want a database to play around with, there's MongoDB, there's Firebase. And if you want to do like develop an app for free, there's Expo. There's every single thing there is a way it's set up that you could start a project $0 until you use this cap limit for the month,
Mm-hmm.
and then they start charging you.
Yeah, I feel like that's one thing. It's like it's good to be free, but I feel like once you get into it, you shouldn't be scared to invest money into whatever you're doing. So if you gotta pay $5.99 a month for a coding course,
You should be
do
willing
it.
to do it.
Do it. If you pick up the habit when you do it for free, you know, when you start from the bottom, because you're building up that love for that thing, whatever it is.
I think like this one post that I saw, right, said that you have three main factors. You need two of them to get the third one. One is knowledge, money, time. In
Mm-hmm.
order to get money, you need time and knowledge. In order to get knowledge, you need time and money. I said the same thing again.
Yeah, it's like a triangle.
But it's a triangle. You can't have the third one without the other two.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to actually buy some time for yourself, first invest in your knowledge. Get a lot of knowledge. And then using that knowledge and your time, get more money.
Yeah.
And using that money and the knowledge, combine them together. By doing that, you get a lot of time. And when you get a lot of time, you get to be with your family and the loved ones, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who matters a lot more than the money or the knowledge or anything you gain.
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying about just having financial freedom. It's knowledge and money. Like having free time is so like overrated in my opinion. It's so underrated in my opinion. Having free time. Just imagine like being able to just relax, you know, do what you're supposed to do as a Muslim, just as a human, you know, take your time with everything, you know, because you have more time to use. You're not rushing to work. You're not rushing back. You're not worried about sleeping early because you have to go into work the next day. Stuff like that. It's the
I
little
think I
stuff.
realized that when I went to a camp for 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
This was a YM camp last year, 1 week. It was, I think that 1 week, it was the 1 week probably that I had possibly 0 to 0 hours of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not even an hour, not
Those
30
weeks are the
minutes.
best.
Trust me, that week was just go in the water, have fun, play basketball, play soccer, do whatever you want to do. Zero screen time, no screen time at all. Just fun, just be in the moment and do what you had to do. There was like, I believe I didn't charge my phone for the 4 or 5 days.
MashaAllah.
Like I didn't
People
have
should try that out. It's so underrated.
like, I think like that gave me so much free time. You do whatever you want to do, like. And we had the salah and everything. You know, everything was prepared. The Quran was we recited the Quran. We had lectures, halaqas. Everything was there. Yes, we did all the mandatory Islamic stuff that we had to do. The Islamic principles that is there.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, when you get rid of the phone in your life, what I realized that you have so much time.
Yeah.
The time that you have
I
is
agree.
so crazy.
Think about it. You can spend 3 hours on the phone, but people say they still don't have time to pray. Think about it like that. It takes 5-10 minutes to pray, and you're on your phone for 3 hours. Look at your screen time, and it's crazy how you use your phone that much. But then, oh, I'm tired. I don't got time to work out. I'm tired. Stuff like that. Look at your phone time.
I think your average person's phone time is close to 4 hours or more.
Wow.
4 hours or more.
That's, what is that, 1/6 of your day, and not including sleep.
No, not including sleep.
That's crazy.
And some people don't sleep. This is the thing. Screen time on your phone only. You're not accounting for screen time on your
Laptop,
TV, on any personal device that they have. You're not accounting for that. You're just accounting for that one smartphone. The smartphone itself is 4 hours. That's crazy.
That's scary.
Think about it. Some people don't sleep at night. They just do Netflix runs,
That's
movie
insane.
marathons. Like,
I like my
that's actually
sleep too
crazy.
much. Yeah, I like my sleep too much. I'm falling asleep.
I'm falling asleep, bro. Like, I can't sleep. I don't think I could stay up awake after 10 o'clock. I usually just fall asleep.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
Like, I just can't, because I'm a morning person, so I wake up early.
I wanna address that. I feel like everyone's a morning person. That might be controversial, but I think everyone naturally we're morning people.
The thing is, the morning sun, right? I think naturally our body is supposed to wake up at the morning. It's not supposed to be. Our bodies are made so it's like. Alright, let's forget.
Like my day starts at Fajr, like after Fajr. That's when my day starts. And like I feel like even the Prophet ﷺ, he blessed the morning time. He himself would go out in the mornings and get stuff done. He obviously you come back, you could take a nap whenever if you have time, but just the morning time in my opinion is like underrated so much.
I think it's definitely underrated. Like, even a lot of people do sleep. So going back to the example I was trying to make, right? So it's like you have like our ancestors, they did not have technology or anything like that.
No alarm clocks,
nothing, right? They slept when the moon got dark, when the sky got dark, right? They slept when the sky got dark. They woke up when the dawn, when sun rises.
They woke up to the roosters.
They woke up to the roosters, and they were like, and people don't understand that. You said but there's barakah in the morning, and people don't understand that the sunlight that they need outside at that time is so nutritious.
So amazing.
It's so amazing. Like, even it's so good for your eyesight too. Like, it's actually good for your eyesight, your body health, everything. Like,
that first ray when it hits your face when you're outside, it feels so good. It's like you can't.
And that breeze too in the morning, the cold.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't know about the cold, but let's say obviously the cold, but just in the summer, even any time really, when you feel that sun, like that direct sunlight hitting your face, it's like a immunity boost. Not immunity booster, but it's like I see it as a booster just to my day. Like, just I'm ready to work. Like, I'm ready to do stuff.
I think another thing that a lot of people do mistake is how, going back to the knowledge aspect, right? Knowledge aspect, and then having like a lot of like more doing a regular schedule. One thing is that part of your regular schedule should be like learning at least one lesson a day.
Seeking knowledge is very important.
Seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
Even in Islam, seeking knowledge is pretty important, whether it be like school, whatever. Yes, it's important. And also like seeking knowledge, staying active, whether it be going to the gym, doing calisthenics, walking, not even just walking, just doing like 5 push-ups a day. That's even something.
I would say knowledge is going back to knowledge is so important. And if you think about it, it's like it's something that is there, right? You just have to find a way to get there. Any knowledge, whatever you're saying, business, spiritual knowledge, just knowledge of how to work in a community, stuff like that. It's very important. And if you think about it, like the first word in the Quran is like Iqra, which means read. So it just shows how important it is to read. So stuff like just think about it like that, and just think about every religion per se, right? Like every way of life, every job, every like pathway for business. The more knowledge you have, the more power. Like it's power, really.
That is definitely true. Like I think like having like more knowledge, it's just. I think like having more knowledge just puts you ahead of a lot of people. They don't understand. There's this quote, right? I'm pretty sure, 100% sure that you heard of this before too. The person who's the quietest man is the person with a lot of knowledge.
With the most knowledge, yeah.
I think that's definitely true because if you don't know about anything, right? If you know a lot about something, you're not going to be like, oh, I know this, I know this. You know, you're not gonna boast about it. But if you do not know about it, then you're gonna be like, oh, I know this, I know that, I know that, I know that.
I want to go back to that triangle you were talking about.
Yeah.
If you have more knowledge, you get more money. If you get more money, you get more time. More time, you can use it to get more knowledge.
And you just keep on continuing the circle on that.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle. It's like a life cycle, trust me. I think like the underestimated thing, as I said, going back to the education system, I think that education system really undermines how important knowledge is. Because I personally, right, before I actually started reading books and everything, I was like, I'm never going to read because reading is the boringest thing. I'm never going to read. I'm never going to.
School made us think that way.
Like,
in my opinion, school made me think that way.
I don't know what made me think that way. Like, I regret not reading early. I regret.
Reading is.
I think reading should be not the way that people think is like, oh, you need to have this much reading stuff done. This. I think the way that you should be reading is you need to pick the stuff that you need to learn right now. So, for example, if you're in a business major, you need to pick up that one business book and read that one topic that you definitely need to know, or you want to know. Because if you target and hit those points, trust me, reading is a lot better and you actually get the stuff done.
When I was a kid, reading was just reading your homework, reading a textbook. It was like torture. But if you think about it, when you read now, it's like I read with passion whatever I read. So if it's a business book, Islamic book, I'm reading it based on what I want to read the book.
You want to read the book.
I want to finish the book. I'm on the train just trying to like swiping ebooking, like just reading as much as I can.
I think like morning brew, right? There is this one newsletter that comes out every day in the morning, like 5 minutes. Trust me, this is like the best thing, best thing that you could do.
Just get your brain sharp, yeah.
Just because what they do. So basically, what they do is they give you a summary of what happened the day before in the world, right? It's a 5-minute read. Everything is like, they make it sound so it's not like you're not reading like a newspaper. It's like short and concise, to the point, and they have sarcastic like jokes in them too. So it just makes it more interesting. And like, you read the whole thing and you just know what happened in the whole world, like the most important stuff that happened the day before, and you're like more knowledgeable than the person who doesn't know about it. And like, I really like reading it because I actually get to know stuff, because I'm not going to go sit down on a newspaper and read the whole newspaper, you know?
Yeah, in my opinion, that's also better than just watching a news video. In my opinion, it's way better.
And it helps you with your proficiency in your language too. Like, starting off, like, reading, it gives you a better vocab. It gives you better, like, cohesive speech, comprehensive understanding of everything. And that's, like, a step on the stone, trust me. That's, like, something definitely, like, people should try. And also, like, I forgot what I was trying to say.
Just reading, that's it.
Reading, and, yeah, definitely reading. Definitely read, definitely read. And also, like, pick out the books that you really want to read. Because some people say that, oh, don't pick out a book because the cover, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. I think that's definitely true. What you need to do is go to the review section of that book, read the good reviews, see how much the people themselves, because most of the reviews, they actually say that this is how much I learned, this is what I learned. And if you think that what they learned is important to you, then read it.
You're just missing out on information if you don't. And to be honest, what are you really losing from it? Like, you're not losing much, to be honest. Like, the pros outweigh the cons.
That is true. That is definitely true. Like reading definitely has this idea that you're just having this one idea that you just keep doing and learning it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Talking about reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reading involves many stuff, but there's this one aspect where you have to like look at stuff, visualize, and you had to edit and everything, right? Which is like one of your jobs and careers that you do.
I mean, I see it as just like a work. I see it as like a nirma, which is like opportunity. In my opinion, it's like an opportunity. So I just take advantage of any opportunity I get. I try to.
You try to. So how did like you starting to edit and everything like come together like and like how did you move forward with I want to do this because obviously there are certain things that you want to don't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but how did you end up there and how did you learn how to do it and how did you
Yeah, I would say recently I really picked up like photography, editing. I really want to take an editing course just to really learn how to edit. I really want to take like a videographer course, stuff like that. And to be honest, I never thought I would like it. To be honest, I saw it as kind of like girly, not girly, but it's like aesthetics and stuff like that and angles. I was like, I don't really like this. Like, it's not for me. I'm more like the sporty kind of guy. But to be honest, I picked it up recently, and like it just shows like you can plan, but like God's plan is like God's
that's all
plan.
yeah
He's gonna make it work. Like, and it's ways you don't even think of. Like, if you told me last year, 2 years ago, that I would like photography, or videography, or editing, I'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
I think like that's kind of true with me too because there's like going back to the reading part I never liked reading.
Mm-hmm.
But once I started picking up the book, the first book that I read was Atomic Habits. I actually loved that book so much. Like the guys that I know, like I keep torturing with that people with that book. Like they're like, "Oh, it's just a book." Like for me, it's such a big thing because it's the first book that I read
Mm-hmm.
that to the entirety of it with own willingness to actually learn something from it. And that book actually taught me stuff that was useful and gave me a lot of perspective and actual ideas that are actually useful. So like, as you had said, I don't think if someone told me 2 years ago that I would be reading books, yeah, definitely
Right?
not.
It's crazy to think about, and it's like you can't even see it as a coincidence because there is no
There's
coincidence.
no coincidence.
And the way I see it, it's like it really like forged a path that I wanted to follow my career, which is like, inshallah, I want to like in the future I want to start posting like just Islamic content or just motivational content and stuff like that, just so that other people can like benefit from what I'm saying. So even when I'm gone, that stuff is
That's
still
still
gonna be on
there.
social media. It's like a sadaqah jariyah in a sense where you're teaching like other
Other people.
Muslims, other business people, like stuff like that. I see it as like amazing.
I think that's main. That's like very important. A lot of people don't understand, especially like that the impact that you can create by doing content, putting out content that's actually useful for other people. And if they learn every single time that they learn something good, whether it be Islamic or non-Islamic, let's say for example someone's teaching some a new method of doing this one math problem.
Mhm.
Trust me, that's going to help a lot of kids.
Mhm.
And I think that gives you so much rewards from Allah, and that person is going to be so thankful to you. Like I remember seeing certain videos which like the I believe is called organic chemistry.
Mhm.
Uh, the way that he taught me physics was something so amazing. Like my physics teacher explained it to me like 1,000 times, but I never understood it. But this guy, the way he explained it, the way he put it together was so amazing. Like you actually could understand it.
Yeah, I think like just us we say social media, but obviously it goes farther than social media.
Yeah.
It's how you interact with people. It's like another thing I look at is like my role models. Like obviously Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi
So
Wasallam, that's the biggest role model. And like you got to think he didn't have no social media, but yeah, he's still the most followed person in the world,
in
right?
the world, yeah.
So it's like you got to think about how he interacted with his people, his character, the lectures he gave, the commitment he gave, how he traveled the world, and his companions. They all spread that message that he had, and his intentions were pure too. So I feel like that's something. If you're trying to have a legacy like he did, that's something to look at. Just like his lifestyle.
I think like definitely like we talked about this in the first podcast too. Everyone should definitely read the Prophet's life, Muslim or non-Muslim, not to convert anyone or anything like that. Like if you want to become Muslim after that, alhamdulillah, thank you,
Alhamdulillah.
good. but I think that anyone who reads something from it could learn life lessons, how to treat other people. Because talking and reading a lot of books, what I seem to understand is that the common theme is that everything has been already explained in Islam. It's just
I
like
see
these
the same
people
way.
that they're writing this book, right? But they're writing it on the principles of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which we are taught to do as like either as a fard or sunnah already.
One thing is Islam is a way of life at the end of the day, right? And like going back to what you're saying about knowledge, learn about this, learn about the Prophet's life. Like Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, like what are you losing from getting knowledge from his life? He was first he was like the messenger. He was a leader amongst his people. He was with his people. He ate with his people. He sat with his people. He was a father figure. He was a husband. There's so much aspects of his life that you can cover in just learning. You learn one part of his life. Learn about how he treated his companions when he went to war.
No, I think the main important part, that's something that people should definitely read, is his treatment towards his enemies.
Yeah.
Trust
Oh,
me,
yeah.
a lot of
That's when you
people
see
right
true
now,
colors.
and when he had the power, because if you want to know the person's true colors, give him power. And I think that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam really hit it on the nail in that point, because that one quote about like give someone the power, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was given the power at that time, and that's definitely a beautiful story to read and
He never
understand.
took revenge for himself. He was always for Islam, whatever he did. So that's like
He had a purpose.
he had a purpose, exactly.
His passion was something, sure, but his purpose was to spread Islam and give Islam as to spread it as a prosperous like way of life to other people.
Yeah, obviously, like we're Muslims, so we can't really assume how other people would take like just reading a book about a Muslim prophet, whatever. Even to the Muslims that are watching, like learning about the seerah is so important, and it's like why not? Like you were blessed to be born into a religion that has the best man to walk the earth. Why not learn about his lifestyle? It's like a blueprint to your life.
That is definitely true.
Yeah, so alhamdulillah, jazakallah for having me on this podcast. If I said anything good, it's from Allah, alhamdulillah. And if I said anything bad, it's from my own wrongdoing and shaitan. So please forgive me. And everyone watching, please forgive me. And yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today,
No problem.
and good luck on your endeavors and your college.
Inshallah, jazakallah.
So,
Assalamu
Jazakallah,
alaikum.
brothers. All right, so. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. In a episode of Hard to Mic, produced by Mars Studios. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do subscribe, leave a like, and also comment, inshallah.